Tuning is hands down the best modification you can do to any turbo car, especially these newer BMWs, and here's why. When it comes to adding basic bolt-ons to your car like intakes and exhaust, they may look and sound amazing, but realistically speaking, you may get 5 horsepower here, 10 there, maybe 15. None of that compares to a flash tune. This is Edwin's G82 M4, and if you add a stage 1 93 octane tune, you'll get over 100 horsepower, all from software. You can do it from your phone, and it just takes a couple minutes. But there's a catch. You see, BMW is not dumb, and frankly, they don't want you tuning your car, so they lock your DME, which is the ECU or engine control unit that controls your timing, your boost, your fueling, and more. And with that being said, naturally, we're gonna show you how to get around it and unlock your DME, and we're also gonna show you how to flash your car so you can have some fun too. Now, when it comes to unlocking your DME, there are 3 different ways that this can be done. If you take a look at the top, we're gonna show you an OBD unlock, which we're gonna do on my red F80 M3. In the middle, we have Zach's 2020 X7. That is a traditional bench unlock. And then Edwin's car here is going to require a FEMTO unlock. So let's start by showing you how to identify which unlock you need. For today's video, we're going to need 2 tools. First is the Kies Wi-Fi ENET adapter. This is the interface that connects the car to my phone, and then we're just going to be using a regular everyday iPhone. You can also do this project on Android, Mac, or PC, so it's very flexible. So with that, let's plug this bad boy into the OBD down here. Now with the Wi-Fi ENET adapter plugged in, you're going to go to your Wi-Fi settings and connect to the Kies network. Okay, here we go here. Now for your first time connecting, you are going to need the password. It's just Kies with a capital K, K-I-E-S, 1234, and we printed it on the back of the dongle for you. Once that's connected, what we need to do is we need to configure the IP address so that we're able to connect to the car and also still have cell service. So to do that, hit this little I on an iPhone next to the network. And then down here where it says configure IP, it's on automatic, and you'll see an IP address. You just press and hold that. It'll allow you to copy it. Then flip it over from automatic to manual, where it says IP address, paste it, and then for the subnet mask, it's 255.255.255.0. and then you can hit save. And now the connection is fully set up. Once you've set up your connection, go over to the boot mode app. If you don't have it, it's available in the Google Play Store and also the Apple App Store, totally free. So download it and then sign up with a free account. They don't want your name, they don't want your address and your phone number and all that. All they want is your email and a way for you to log in. So go ahead and set that up. Then with the key in your car and your foot off the brake, hit that start stop button, and that'll put the car into accessory mode, and that will set up the connection. You'll know that it's set up when this turns green, just like that. Right on schedule, look at that. Now, if you take a look down here, it's gonna say view software IDs, and this is what we need to click. When you click on that, it's going to give you one of 3 options, OBD, bench, or FEMTO. Let's start with the most common and by far the easiest, which is an OBD unlock. This is the same unlock that's needed for my F80 M3. If you are said that, you are in luck because you can be flashing today if you have your license and a way to connect to your car, like the Kies Wi-Fi ENET adapter. We're gonna talk about all that more in a little bit. So what you need to do is skip ahead in the video. We have a timestamp for you down below where we're going to walk through the unlocking and the flashing process. You don't have to remove a DME from the car or anything like that. The DME unlock happens while the flash is occurring. It's all automated and it's so stinking easy. So skip ahead and we'll see you in the future. The next unlock process is the bench unlock. This is something that we do at our facility every single day, and it's the exact same thing we did with Zach's BMW X7. First thing you need to do is head over to kies.com and search for DME Unlock. It's a service that we offer in-house at our facility in New Jersey where we unlock DME so you can go faster. So once you've done that, what you need to do is remove the DME from your vehicle, and we highly recommend that you put some blue painter's tape or something on your DME to identify it. Put your order number, your name, your VIN number, and your phone number. If you have a 4-cylinder, you have 1 DME. If you have a 6-cylinder like Zach's B58, you have 1. But if you have a V8, you have 2. If you have 2, please send both in, otherwise it will not work. That being said, to remove the DME from the vehicle, it is not a difficult process at all. We're going to demonstrate on Edwin's G82 M4 in a little bit. If you want to skip ahead, we have a timestamp down below. And if you ever have questions or you're not really sure what to do, just shoot us an email to info@kiesmotorsports.com and our guys will be happy to help you out. Please be sure to properly package your DMEs before shipping them in. Make sure that you use bubble wrap and make sure that everything is well protected, especially the connectors. Make sure you put them in a box as well. I say that because we've had customers that drop them off to FedEx and say, hey, this needs to go to Kies, handle the packaging. What FedEx does is they take it, they put it in a Teflon bag that has 0 protection. And by the time it gets to us, we open it up and there's damage. You wanna make sure that everything is well protected, bubble wrapped in a box for extra security. Remember, these are $2,500. You do not wanna have to pay for a replacement, so take the time to make sure that it's properly packed to be able to survive the trip. Once we get the DMEs, we do our absolute best to get them out the same day. We want you to have fun and go fast and in your car, and that's not gonna happen if the DME is at our facility. So we hook it up to our special machinery, we unlock it, and we get it right back out to you. Once you get your DME back, you can carefully reinstall it in your vehicle. If you're removing and reinstalling your DME, watch the next section because I go through how to do it, and we give you some tips and tricks how to make sure it's going to work perfect the very first time. Once it's fully installed, you're ready to flash. And third and finally, we're going to show you how to do the FEMTO unlock. Now, to give you guys some extra perspective, we are going to walk you through step-by-step how to remove a DME from a G82. If you have a B58, B48, it's going to be a very similar process. If you have a V8, you have two DMEs. Typically, one's going to be on the left, one's going to be on the right. You need to make sure that you send both in. It's very important for the tune to work. Also, some of the cars have them in slightly different locations. If you have an S55, M3, or M4, they're actually under the intake manifold. If you don't know where your DME is, all you need to do is send us a message and we can help you out. With that, let's disconnect the battery and remove the DME. Now, when it comes to disconnecting the battery in your BMW, typically they are in the trunk here. And what you want to do is make sure that you block off this section here so that if somebody accidentally locks your trunk, it doesn't close it and then, well, you're kind of screwed to get out of it. Another thing that I recommend doing if you have a 4 Series is if you need to be getting in and out of the car in this time frame, you want to put the window down ever so slightly, because if you come over here and take a look, when you open the door, the window slides down, and then when you close it, it goes back up. Otherwise, what'll happen is the window will be up when you go to open the door, and if you go to shut the door again, you could break the window. So before I disconnect that battery, I'm going to lower the windows ever so slightly. Then, as a preventative measure, I always like to make sure that the seats are unlatched, so that way, in the unlikely event that someone does shut the trunk and there's no power to it, you can go through the seats if you need to reconnect the battery. So with that, with a 10 millimeter, what you want to do is remove the negative terminal. Set it to the side. Now, in Edwin's car, the DME is located under this little cover here, so we're going to remove this top part of the brace by removing these 4 15 millimeter nuts. Then once you've done that, you can remove this, put it out of the way. Okay, now we need to remove the DME cover. So take the fuel line, just gently slide it out of the way, and then lift up, and it's gonna unhook just like that. Now what you wanna do is take a couple different pictures from a couple different angles, and this is going to make sure that you have a reference for when you go to reinstall your DME. We get it all the time where people don't fully install them correctly, whether it's not fully latched in. We're going to show you how to do that in a minute. And also another thing about these DMEs, typically they have several spots that you can mix up the plug. So I'm going to show you how to prevent that for good. All right, what I like to do is use some kind of paint marker, chalk marker. This is a permanent marking stick. Haven't used this one, but we're going to give it a shot. And what I like to do is I will typically draw a dot or a line on the first one, and then to release it, there's a little tab here. You press that in, and then you're going to gently press the lever down until it clicks, and then it will remove with ease. When you go to reinstall them, you want to be very careful. I like to just kind of wiggle it in place, and then I actually push down until the lever goes up, and then you clip it, then check it, make sure if this is not clipped in all the way, it's not going to work. We get people all the time, they put it halfway in and they click it and they say, hey, my car's not starting. And then we go like this, it's not plugged in. So just be very careful with it. It's crazy common. So again, use the method that I show you, just get it and just push it until the lever goes, and then make sure you double check it. All right, so here's number one. We're going to pull that one, and we're just gonna tuck it down here out of the way. You can see we actually did this before on here, but sometimes they wear off. So then I'll do 2 dots. Okay, I'll pull this one up and out of the way. As you can see, it has connections all along here, and you have some that are crisscrossing and going back and forth. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm going to go front to back. I'm gonna label this one just as a 1. Then a 2 dot, and this time I need to remove the 2 dot. You're going to carefully pull up on this gray tab, then you press in on the gray tab and release this, like so, and you can put that out of the way. And then the next one that's gonna be in the way is this one over here. So I'm gonna continue labeling these here. So this one is 1, 2, 3, and then this is gonna be easier to mark once I actually get it out. It's a little bit tight in here, but again, just lift up on this little gray tab and then press the gray tab and that'll pop out. So again, here's what I'm doing. The tab is locking it in place. I'm just taking my pick tool, popping it up, and then when you press on the gray tab, it's going to release it. So since I have this out of the car, I'm just gonna do 4 dots so that I know what's what. So then I'm gonna move these out of the way. We can get number 2 out of the way, and then we're on to number 3. If you watched our video where we put the CSF cooler in, that's why we removed the DME previously. Now this one is going across here. So I'm gonna mark this one 1, and then this one 2. So same thing, you're a pro now. Lift up on this little tab here, and you can take that and move it out of the way. This one's number 4. I'm just gonna redo my marks. Okay, this is 5. Okay, and connected to 5 is the second one on the other side there. And then for the last one, I don't normally mark it, but you're welcome to if you like to. And then you can move that out of the way just like that, and you can see your DME clear as day. Then if you take your hand and you get it between the plastic and your DME, you can release the 2 tabs that are holding it in, and it'll slide right out. Once I get this out, we'll go back and I'll show you what those tabs look like. Just make sure you're not pulling on any wires when you go to pull this out. So this is what your DME looks like. Remember, it goes in with the fins going this way. And if you take a look right in here, you can see the 2 tabs that are holding it in place. So there's one here, there's one here. If you can't do it with your hand, where I was just pushing them back, you can always use like a plastic trim tool and pry it in there and pry it in there. And those just go and they clip like in this section right here. All right, with the DME out of the car, we are ready to send it to FEMTO so we can give him some more power. But before we do that, you wanna make sure you properly label it. Put your name on it. We like to use some painter's tape. If there's an order number, make sure you put your name, your address, your phone number, your VIN number, any information that whoever is unlocking it is going to need. Now, the FEMTO unlock process has changed twice now. Therefore, instead of saying, hey, this is exactly what to do, I don't want it to change again. So what we do is we have a link for you down in the description. It's gonna take you to kies.com, and we wrote out the entire process. This way, if it changes, we can make any changes there and this video can still survive. Last thing I wanna say before we ship out Edwin's DME, make sure that you use a ton of bubble wrap. Make sure that you have this thing well protected, because in our case, it's going halfway around the world. You wanna make sure that it gets there and back in one piece. So we're gonna go send this out off camera, and then once it gets back, we'll continue with the flash process. All right, we just got Edwin's DME back from FEMTO. Let's throw it in the car. All right, when it comes to plugging your DME back in, make sure that they are all unlocked. If they're locked, fully release them until you hear a little click. Then what you want to do, insert them into the correct locations. And as you push them in and push them down, I like to kind of wiggle to make sure there's no pins getting bent. Push it down until it starts to go. Clip it in, make sure it's connected solid, otherwise you can have an issue. All right, so once that's in, let's do the rest. All right, at this point, we are finally ready to flash the car with a tune. If yours came up and it said that it was an OBD unlock, you are good to go. You never had to do anything. If it said bench unlock and you had us unlock it and you put it back in your car, you are good to go. And just like Edwin's, if you had to send it over to FEMTO, you are ready to rock. So first thing we need to do, put the car in accessory mode, and then we need to go and we need to establish our connection just like we did earlier. So I'm gonna flip this over here to manual. 255.255.255.0. Save. Okay, then we're going to go over here to boot mode, and Edwin does not have a license yet. So what we need to do is go over to kies.com. I'm going to type in Pro Tuning Freaks. You can type in boot mode, BM3, whatever you want. And then I'm going to search down here, and then this is the license that we need for Edwin's car, the S58. Now, what's really cool about this specific car, if you scroll down, on stage 1 93 octane, you get a 21% increase in horsepower and a 31% increase in torque. That's over 100 horsepower to the wheels. It's going to be amazing, and that's exactly what we're going to do for Edwin today. So if you don't already have a license, just add it to your cart, and that will automatically generate you a software license. Back into boot mode, Edwin does not have a user ID, so I am going to first start by hitting start, and then I need to add an account. Okay, so I don't have an account, so I'm gonna hit sign up. All right, and Zach's gonna blur out Edwin's email so he doesn't get 35,000 emails. All right, so now that we have our account, first thing we need to do is register the vehicle. So over here where it says register vehicle, we're gonna hit that. Then over here where it says activation key, we're going to paste in our activation code, and we're gonna hit done, and we're going to register the vehicle. All right, the registration is complete. we can now see OTS maps. You can see My Maps, and then we have OTS maps. Under My Maps, that's your stock tune. Boot mode automatically saves your stock tune, so you don't have to worry about losing the file or anything. It's always going to be there. And if you go to OTS, you can see we have stage 0 plus, that's basically a CSL map. Then you have stage 1 and stage 2. For Edwin, we're going to go stage 1. So if you click this little drop down over here, you can pick if you have 91 octane, 93. Then you have ACN 91, which is Arizona, California, Nevada, because I'm sorry, you have crappy gas. And they have to do that. And then there's also E30 and multi-map. We're just going to do 93. Then we're going to download it. Do you want to acquire it? Yeah, of course. After you've selected the map that you want, we're going to go over here to My Maps, and you have to download your stock tune. So we're gonna hit this little download button. Then once you have a little check mark, we are good to flash our car. All right, so at this point we are ready to flash. I'm gonna tap over here. Now, if you wanna do things like configure your burbles and all that, you go up to this little gear icon, and then you can do whatever you want. There's a whole bunch of settings. We're gonna have to cover that in another video because it gets very in-depth. But again, it's all easy and it's all stuff you guys can do from home. It's just time consuming. For the sake of this video, we're gonna hit that button on the bottom right, and then we're going to hit flash. If your car needs to do an unlock, a lot of times it'll say flash and unlock. This car is already unlocked, so we don't need to do that. We're gonna hit flash. Now you are going to get a warning, even if we unlocked it or you sent it over to FEMTO. The only situation when you can hit confirm is if you know 100% that it went to us or it went to FEMTO. If you did not unlock your DME and you hit this, your car will not work and it's a pain to recover it. So do not do that. But if you see this warning after we touched it or after FEMTO did it, you are good to confirm and click through. Now, we used to recommend a battery charger. When boot mode first came out, it took like 20 or 30 minutes to flash. Now it takes, I mean, you can see, I'm not gonna tell you how long it's, we're gonna watch it live here. So it's been 8 seconds and it's almost done. So as you can see, it's pretty quick. If it does an unlock, an OBD unlock, it does take a little bit longer, maybe a minute or two. But again, it's so quick. By the time you hook up the battery charger, it's gonna be done. Just make sure that your battery is not super low or anything. So as you can see, it wrote the DME, even for the first time, in 10 whole seconds. Screenshot that, because I'm gonna send it to Edwin in a second. Hit done, and what we can do now is turn the car off, start it up, and we are tuned. All right, so we are driving around lightly. We want to warm the car up, and then we're going to do a couple pulls and see how everything feels. So far, it is so smooth. Driving a car with boot mode on it, it feels like a factory tune. And the best way to describe the feeling, it's like the car becomes weightless to a certain extent. The power potential that you get from a boot mode tune is the best feeling in the world. So let's warm it up, we'll do a pull. All right, so we've been driving around making sure that the car is up to operating temperature, making sure that everything feels good. So far, everything feels great. Pull a little gas in, so we've got a half tank of 93 octane. And just doing some light pulls, half throttle. This car feels amazing. It feels like a whole new car. These come with, I think, 510 from the factory, and this will put it in the 6s. Again, just on 93 on a stage 1 tune. Let's do another little light pull. It pulls so freaking hard. It just puts you back in your seat, and it's just like a nice, gradual, strong pull. It completely wakes the car up. I mean, you're adding, what, 20% more power to the car. So, it's hard to talk and drive at the same time, but it's so smooth though. One of the biggest things that I love about a true flash tune like boot mode is that it is such a smooth experience that it feels like it came like this from the factory. All right, we're not gonna launch or anything, but let's go from a stop. This thing feels great. It's such a huge improvement over stock, it's not even funny. And then, if you start to add E85, you can add stupid amounts of power. On my car, we did 50% ethanol, 50% 93 octane, and we got another 100 horsepower on top of what this one has right now. And at that power level, I was running a 9.8 quarter mile. I mean, these things are stupid fast with very minimal effort, which is one of the beauties of the G80 and the G82, and also now the G87. So once again, to sum up this whole video in just a couple seconds here, first thing you need to do is figure out what type of lock is on your DME. A lot of times you're gonna find that you can do it with the OBD, which is a super easy and straightforward process. Sometimes you need to have a bench unlock, which is something we offer right here in the United States in New Jersey. And then there are occasions when you have to send it overseas. But again, if you take a look in the description, we have a link that takes you to a document that's on our website. It walks you through the entire process. It doesn't take very long. Yeah, you're gonna be down without a car for about a week or so, but it is so worth the extra power that it's not even funny. And then after that, we showed you how to remove and reinstall a DME, showed you how to flash it. We will have to come back and show you some more of the tips and some of the features in boot mode, but that is, you can do many videos in boot mode alone, but we cover basic flashing, which is what most of you are going to need to do. Most of the time, the beauty of the boot mode tunes, a lot of them are just set it and forget it. If you want to do custom tuning, you want to do big turbos, you want to do all that kind of stuff, that's fine. But for the average person, you just want to set it and just go. And that is what is so good about boot mode. It's affordable, it's very safe, and it's stinking powerful as anything. So that's why we all love it here. Anyway, my name is Brian, that's Zach behind the camera. Thanks for watching Kies. If you like our video, give us a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and get your boot mode down below at kies.com, Kies.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.